Hello guys, welcome to another learning session again with Mafeng. So we are going to be answering the section B of the WAEC 2024 maths questions. So we have a video already for the first part, which is the section A, talking about the first 5 questions. And I was able to explain a lot, all the questions that we have there. So now we're going to enter the section B. So we are going to answer some of the questions that we have here. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm going to be making more of this video for subsequent years. That's talk about previous years. So this for 2024. So there'll be more of these videos for also other exams that we have. So we are going to go ahead to look at question 6. It says that given that x plus 2, 4x plus 3, and 7x plus 24 are consecutive terms of a geometric progression. That's talking about we have x plus 2, we have 4x plus 3, and then we have 7x plus 24. So these are consecutive. So what does the word consecutive mean? Consecutive means they follow a regular pattern. That's to say, based on the regular pattern that we have, after this will be the next, and this will be the next. So they are following themselves. That's talking about, take for example, we can have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 are consecutive terms. It could be 2, 4, 6. They are also consecutive terms depending on the rule guiding that particular sequence that we have. So, and then it is a geometric progression. So if it's a geometric progression, then of course we need to find, since they follow themselves, it's going to be, we are going to find the common ratio. And to do that, it's going to be the next term divided by the previous term. Don't forget, the next term divided by the previous term. So I'm going to say R, which is the common ratio, is equal to 4x plus 3 over x plus 2. And this is same as saying, again, 7x plus 24 over 4x plus 3. So I'm going to solve this algebraic equation that I have here. So I'm going to cross multiply, and that will be 4x plus 3 into 4x plus 3, and that will be equal to 7x plus 24 into x plus 2. Now, what I'm doing is to find the common ratio, because the first question says find the value of x. So I'm going to do that, but then don't forget this, bear this in mind. So opening this bracket, this is 16x squared minus 12x, plus, that's 4x plus times this. 4x times this is 16x squared, 4x times this is plus, 3 times this, that will give me plus 12x, and this times this, that will give me 9. And this will be 7x times x, this is 7x squared, times this. That's 7x times 2, this is 14x, 24 times x, that's 24x, and 24 times 2, that's plus 48. So looking at this, I have 16x squared plus this is 24x plus 9 equal to 7x squared plus this will give me 38x, yes, plus 48. So I'm going to move all this to this other side. So this will be 16x squared. This will be minus 7x squared. When I move this to this other side, plus 24x, that's this 24. Then I'll take this to the other side, minus 38x. And this is plus 9, and I'm going to take this minus 48, and this will be equal to 0. So 16x squared minus 7x squared, that will give me 9x squared. This minus this, that will give me 6, 8, and that is minus 14x. And then here, 9 minus 48, that will give me minus 39 equal to 0. So let me see this. This is 9x squared. 24x minus 38, x plus 8, that will give me minus 14. And then this will give me minus 39. Yes, that's perfectly okay. Now, looking at this now, there's no common, I don't have a common factor for 9, 14, and 39. So I'm going to go ahead to multiply this times this. That's, I would like to factorize. So at this point here, some students might decide to use what we call any of the quadratic, that's any of the quadratic method of solving quadratic equation, which we have completing the square method, we have factorization method, we have the graphical, of course that might be huge for them to do, and then we also have what we call, I think those are the method that we have, okay, using the quadratic formula. So in this case, any of the method can work for you since it's not actually specified which one to do. So I'm going to take this 9x times 39x. That's 9x times 39x. I'm going to do that here. 9 times 69, that's 9 times 30. That gives me 270 times 9. That gives me 81. So 270 plus 81. This is 1. This is going to be 5. And with the 1, that's 3. So I'm having 351 minus 351x squared. So I'm to look for two factors of 351 x squared that will give me what I have in here. So that's using the, what do you call it now? That's using the factorization method. So looking at that now, I can explore 351. Looking at the factors, let me see, let me divide with 7. What do I have? Nope, it doesn't go. 351 divided by, so let's see, I think at this point divided by 3, let me see this, that's 117 divided by 3, that's 39, and then divided by 3, that's 13. So I'm going to say I have 13 and 9. 13 times 27, that gives me 351. So let me see, 27 minus 13. This will give me 4, 1. Okay, so I'm going to be making use of 27 and 13. So one of the two factors that will go, that's 27 and 13. If you multiply this, you get 351. So how do I combine it to give me this? Now, looking at that, and that means I'm going to need that's minus 27, then plus 13 will give me this. So this will be, these are the factors I'm going to make use of. That's minus 27x plus 13x. So this will be 9x squared minus 27x plus 13x minus 39 equal to 0. That's to say, in place of minus 14, I'm going to put minus 27x plus 13x, which is still same as minus 14. So looking at this, what's common? That's 9x. When I factor out 9x, I'm going to be left with x. When I factor out 9x here, I'm going to be left with minus 3. Then plus what's common here, that's 13. When I factor out 13, I'm going to be left with x. When I factor out 13 here, that will be 3 equal to 0. So that gives me 9x plus 13 into x minus 3 equal to 0. So that means 9x plus 13 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Here, 9x is equal to minus 13. Or here, x is equal to 3, right? That's, it goes here, it becomes plus 3. And so that means, looking at this now, I can say x is equal to minus 13 over 9, or x is equal to 3. So these are the values of x. So the question says, find the value of x. Now, having found the value of x, now we are going to go back. The next part of the question says, find the common ratio. Here, we already have this equation for the common ratio. So for the B part of this question, I can pick any of these actually, the one that works. So I'm going to say R, which is equal to 4x plus 3 over x plus 2. Now, since I'm having two values of x, I would need to treat it that way. So I'm going to say when x is equal to minus 13 over 9, I'm going to substitute it in here. R will be equal to 4 into minus 13 over 9 plus 3 over minus 13 over 9 plus 2. Now, this will be same as saying 4 times 13, that will give me minus 52 over 9 plus 3 all over minus 13 over 9 plus 2. So I would like to take this gradually so that you get what I'm saying now. So looking at the numerator, the LCM of the numerator is 9. So I can take this to multiply this to say this is minus 52 over, that's minus 52 plus 9 times 3, that's 27 all over 9. That's all over this 9. Then I have this again, that's for the numerator. And then for the denominator, I'll take this to multiply this. That's minus 13 plus 18 all over, that's all over 9 still. Now I have this over 9. That's minus 52 plus 27. That should give me, let me take that. That's 52 minus 27. That gives me 25. So that's minus 25 all over 9, all over minus 13 plus 18. That will give me 5 over 9. Now, this same as saying minus 27 over 9 times 9 over 5. When this goes to the other side, it swap to say 5 goes to this 5, and I have minus 27 over 5. So you can leave the answer that way. That's for when x is equal to minus 13 over 9. How about when x is equal to 3? I'm going to substitute back in here again r, which will now be 4 into 3 plus 3 all over 3 plus 2. And this will give me 12 plus 3 over 5. And 12 plus 3, that's 15 over 5, and that will give me 3. So you can see here that the values of r, we have two values of r, and then that solves the question entirely. We are going to proceed into question 7 now. This is for question 6. I believe you understand what I just did right now. And this will give you a total of 12 marks. Don't forget, the step will give you a total of 12 marks. So we have here, we have a table there. That's the age. That's exactly what we have here. I think I would like to draw that. Yes, you can have that. We have age, we have the frequency, we have 5 over 2 here, we have 6 to x minus 1, we have 7, y plus 2, we have 8 and 4, we have 9 and 2, and then finally we have 10 and y minus 1. So that's the table shows ages of 20 children in a household. Don't forget that. 20 children. Now, these are the ages. 5, those age 5, there are 2 of them. Those age 6 are 2x minus 1. Age 7, we have here those who are age 8, there are 4 of them. But then, since the question has said that the table shows the ages of 20 children, which means when we add up the frequency, it should be equal to 20. So I'm going to do that to say 2 plus 2x minus 1 plus y plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus y minus 1 equal to 20. When I work on this, I'm going to have 2x as 2, plus 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. So I have 8, and then for this will be plus y, that will give me 2y plus 8, yes, equal to 20. So this is 2 into x plus y, which will be 20 minus 8. And so I'm going to have x plus y, which will be equal to here, that's 12 over 2, that gives me 6. Let me be sure, 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9, minus 1 is 8. So I have x plus y, which is equal to 6. So I'm going to keep this in view. Again, reading further, it says, given that x ratio y, that's to say x ratio y is equal to 1 ratio 2. X ratio y is equal to 1 ratio 2. So they said we should find the values of x and y. Now, this is given already. So what does this ratio simply mean? It means x over y is equal to 1 over 2. That's exactly what it means. X over y is equal to 1 over 2. So I can decide to make any of these the sorted formula by saying x is equal to y over 2. So when I have x is equal to y over 2, I can call this equation 2. So I'm going to substitute equation 2 in equation 1. When I substitute this in 1, that means y over 2 plus y equal to 6. And this will be same as saying y plus 2y all over 2 equal to 6. That's to say, this 2 goes to multiply this, and that's why I have this. And then y plus 2y, that will give me 3y over 2 equal to 6, and 3y will be equal to 2 times 6, of course, which is 12, and 3y, which is equal to 12, and so y will be 12 divided by 3, and that gives me 4. So y is 4, and since y is 4, I'm going to substitute y equal to 4 in equation 2 to get the corresponding value of x. So that will be x will be equal to 4 over 2, and that gives me 2. So you can see that x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4. So these are the values of x and y. And then the question says the mean age of the children. What's the mean age of the children? So I think I'll need to create a table here to be easier to do that. Again, that's to say I will have the table for age and then for frequency. So this is 5 with 2, and then here I have 6. Now this is 2x, that's to say 2x minus 1 The value of x is 2. So 2 times 2, that's 4. 4 minus 1, that's 3. So I'm going to say that this is 3. Okay, I can put that here so that you're going to see that. Minus 1, which gives me 3. And then here I have 7. Then I'm having y plus 2. Well, what's the value of y? That's 4. 4 plus 2, that gives me 6. So I'm going to say those y, it's 7. There are 6 of them. And then here I have 8 with the 4. I have 9 with the 2, and then 10. Here I'm having y minus 1, which is equal to y is 4. 4 minus 1, that gives me 3. So this is 3. Now you can take it in this way now. So to take it like this, since I'm looking for the mean age, what's the formula for calculating mean? That's we have x bar. That will be summation fx over summation f. Summation fx over summation f. That is the frequency times the value. So here I'm going to have 2 times 5 bracket plus okay, let me take it, let me take it 5 times 2, still the same, 6 times 3, then plus 7 times 6, plus 8 times 4, plus 9 times 2, and then finally plus 10 times 3. I hope this is clear enough. Let me write that again so that you see it clearly. This is 5 times 2, that's 5 times 2, plus 6 times 3, plus 7 times 6, plus 8 times 4, plus 9 times 2, plus that's 10 times 3, and all over, I'm going to add up the frequency, which is summation. You can see that, summation f, and that will be 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 3. Even though there's no need to actually add this up, because in the question they said we are having 20 children. So, but then if you add this up, it should give you 20. So probably I could say 20. Let me just say that 20, since we have 20. Now 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 3 is 18. 7 times 6 is 42. 8 times 4 is 32. 9 times 2 is 18. 10 times 3 is 30 divided by 20. And so I have, this will be 28. 28, that's this plus this, that will give me, I guess, 60, and that's 70, and that's 102, and that's 120, and that's 150. So I'll have 150 divided by 2, which makes this to be 7. No, not 7 now. Yeah, not 7. And that will make this to be 15 over 2. That's 15 over 2, which I can still leave it at 7.5. So that will be the mean age. Let me be sure. This is 60, 70, 102. That's 120, 150. So that solves the question now. So most students, I think in most times, I would really advise students to, you can put it in decimal, provided that it's not something to, or you can leave it in, what do you call it now? Improper fraction. I think for this is perfectly okay. Either way it goes, but don't leave it as, sometimes you can leave it as 15 over 2, but really I would say you can either put it in mixed fraction, or of course just like the way I'm having it in decimal. So that ends this question part. I believe you understand that for question 7. So we are going to look at question 8. It says 2 observers. Now this word problem. Most students tend to be scared of word problem, but one of the secrets of solving word problem question is to treat the question as you read, process the question as you read. So that's what I'm going to do here. It says 2 observers, Abu and Badu, and they are 46 centimeter apart. Sorry, they are 46 meters apart. So let's have that diagram. We have Abu. Let's say, maybe, let me have them here. They're all here. So, and they are 46 centimeter apart. Now, let's say, well, I'm not sure, but let me just read further so that now 2 observers, Abu and Badu, 46 meters apart, observe a bird on a vertical pole from the same side of the bird. So let's assume that we have the bird here on this vertical pole, they stop here, and they are observing. Now, looking at this, we are not sure. I think when I saw this question, I would say that some students might have issue with solving this question, most especially drawing the diagram correctly. Now, it says two observers, Abu and Badu, 40 centimeters apart, observe a bird on a vertical pole from the same side of the bird. Now, we can't tell who is closer, but we know that they are apart. They are 46 meters apart. Now, the angle of elevation, as I said, we can't tell who is closer to the pole and who is farther to the pole. So, but what we know is that they are 46 meters apart. So, now the angles of elevation of the bird from Abu's and Badu's eye are 40 degrees and 48 degrees. For that of Abu, it is 40 degrees. For that of Badu, it is 48 degrees. Now, this is exactly why I said some students usually are going to have issues with this. Now, looking at this now, this will tell me who is closer and who is farther away. Now, when you see this 40 degrees apart, now the more you go farther away from the pole, the smaller the angle of elevation. The closer you get to the pole, the higher the angle of elevation. I believe you understand what that means. Now, that is to say, if I'm going to view the top of this board, when I get closer to it, my angle of elevation will be very high. When I get farther away from it, the angle of elevation will keep reducing. That's the angle at which I'm going to going to move my eye up. It's going to be lesser as I keep going farther away from the board. But as I keep getting closer to the board, the angle of elevation is going to be high. So obviously, Badu is the one that is closer to the bird. So I'm going to say here is Badu, right? And then here is going to be Abu. So the angle of elevation of Badu is 48 degrees, and the angle of elevation, let me have this properly drawn, and then the angle of elevation of Abu is 40 degrees. And then don't forget they are 46 meters apart. And then, of course, this is a right angle. So I believe that that's quite explicit that the closer you get to the bird here, the closer, the higher the angle of elevation. Now, it says that if at the foot of the pole, Abu and Badu are on the same horizontal. Oh, okay, I've done that already. They're actually on the same horizontal plane. And that's to say one is not higher or standing maybe on the table or on a higher plane. So they are all the same horizontal plane. So illustrate the information in a diagram. So this is the information in the diagram. Now, I must say this. One of the rules of marking WAEC is that if a question that requires a diagram is not properly drawn, no mark for that. So you have to ensure that for a question like this, you should have it drawn for the examiner to see. Now, the examiner will have to see to award mark, and that goes to other SSC, So that goes the same, that you have to draw the diagram. So in this case, this diagram must be seen before the examiner will proceed to check all that. So once you see this, and then to ensure that it is properly drawn, we don't have any missing values, even though we tend to minimize mark for maybe some of the missing values that we have here. But maybe when you switch this, saying this is 40 and this is 48, automatically that's a wrong diagram, and there's no way it can give you a correct answer. So that means this will be entirely wrong, entirely, except if in fact it's going to be entirely wrong. So we don't even need to say anything about that. So there's a diagram. So we've answered the first part of the question. Now, the B part of the question, it says calculate correct to one decimal place the height of the pole. I would like to call the height of the pole H. So to call the height of the pole H, we are to find the value of H. Maybe I should call this P, and then I should call this Q, just to give that part maybe so that I can easily navigate in the solution. So now looking at this, I'm going to, as I now you can see this is a triangle, this is another triangle, right? So since I have this, I'm going to say from triangle PQB, that's PQB, you can see that this is the angle and this is the opposite that we have. So I want to find this, right? But then let's not forget, I will also need this angle over here. I will also need this side over here. So I can decide to call this side X. So calling this side X and calling this side H. So I'm going to say from triangle PQB, I'm going to say using these two sides, this is the adjacent and this is the opposite. So I'm going to use tan. You know, the acronym, the popular acronym SOHCAHTOA says opposite and adjacent. I'm going to use tan. So tan 48 degrees is equal to opposite, which is H, over adjacent, which is X. And that's the first part. Now, I would really advise students here, some are quick to resolving this into its decimal. So for me, in this case, I'm not going to do that. And that's because you have to avoid what we call premature approximation. It tends to affect the final answer. So I'm going to maintain my tan 48, which I'm going to resolve this later on in the solution. So I have this. Then I'm going to take, that's to say, from triangle APQ, that's from triangle APQ, that's this whole of this triangle. And I'm going to take that with respect to this 40 degrees, and that's tan 40 degrees, which is equal to, of course, tan, that's the opposite, opposite and then adjacent. So the opposite is H over the adjacent, which is 46 plus X. That's from here to here is 46 plus X. Now, since I have this already done here and here, I'm going to make H sort of the formula. So probably I should call this equation 1 and then this equation 2. So I'm going to say from 1, I'm going to have H to be equal to X tan 48 degrees. And then here, from equation 2, I'm going to have H to be equal to 46 plus X. So don't forget that you're taking the whole of this to multiply this. So you have to put it in bracket, and this will be tan 40 degrees. So this is H, this is H. Look at it, this is H is equal to this, and H is equal to that. So I guess I can equate both of them to say X tan 48 degrees equal to 46 plus X into tan 40 degrees. Now, since I have that, I'm going to open this bracket to collect the value of X. So that will be X tan 48 degrees equal to 46 tan 40 degrees plus X tan 40 degrees. So I'll collect the X together. That's X tan 48 degrees minus X tan 40 degrees equal to 46 tan 40 degrees. Again, as I said, I'm not too quick to actually resolve it into decimal. I can factor out this X to say this is tan 48 degrees minus tan 40 degrees equal to 46. That's tan 40 degrees. And so X will be equal to 46 tan 40 degrees divided by tan 48 degrees minus tan 40 degrees. So if I have this now, I think at this point I can be able to resolve it to find the value of X. Now, once I find the value of X, I'm going to go ahead to find the values of it. So again, I will not be quick to do that. I'm going to go here. So looking at this equation, since H is equal to X tan 48 degrees, I'm going to impute the whole of this X in there to say H is equal to, this is tan 48 degrees times what I have here to be 46 tan 40 degrees all over, that's this 48 times this X. So this will be tan 48 degrees minus tan 40 degrees. So looking at this, when you have this here, this will be 46 times tan 48 degrees times tan 40 degrees all over tan 48 degrees minus tan 40 degrees. And as I say again, the reason why I'm doing this is just to avoid premature approximation. So I guess at this point, I can conveniently make use of my calculator to say 46 tan 48 degrees, then times tan 40 degrees, all divided by what I'm going to have here, and that's in bracket. I'm going to have tan 48 minus tan 40. And this gives me a total of that 157.8859493. Why am I doing all this? In WAEC, you just put it before you approximate, because the question says that calculate correct to one decimal place the height of the pole. So this would be in meters. So to one decimal place, after the decimal, I approximate this. That's to say this is 1. Then I approximate this to 1. I add it to this. So this gives me 57.9 meters to 1 dp. That's the one decimal place. So that solves the question entirely. So you can see here, I try to avoid premature approximation, and that's why I see I actually did this. Otherwise, some students will approximate to whole values, and then at the end of the day, it affects the final answer. You might see them ending with 150, maybe 7.2, or some will end with 156 or 158, which it depends on how they approximate earlier on. So that's enough of this. Now we're going to go ahead to look at the next question, which is question 9. We look at question 9. Now, looking at question 9, we have that the diameter of a circle center O is 26 centimeter. Now, if a chord PQ is drawn such that it is 5 centimeter from O, so you can, of course, you have the question there. Now, to draw the diagram, this question requires a diagram. Without diagram, there's no way you can be awarded marks. So you have to draw the diagram, and the diagram will have to be correct. So we are told that the diameter of a circle is center O is 26 centimeter. If a chord PQ, so that's to say we have this, and then there's a chord here. This is the center O, this is P, this is Q. And they didn't give us the length of the chord. They said, but it is drawn in such a way that it is 5 centimeter from the center. That's this chord is 5 centimeter from the center. This is 5 centimeter, and it's the center O. Now they say calculate correct to the nearest whole number. That is angle POQ. 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 So I guess I'm going to join this together. So angle POQ, that's this angle all together. Now, looking at this, there's a theorem that says that when a line is drawn, a straight line is drawn from the center to bisect. Obviously, when this goes down, it bisects this chord into two parts. So this is a right angle. And then they said that the diameter is 26 meters. So if the diameter is 26 meters, don't forget the radius, that's a straight line drawn from the center to the circumference. So that means radius will be 26 divided by 2. That gives me 13 meters. So this will be 13 meters. Now, since this is 13 meters, and the first question says that find angle POQ. Find angle POQ. So I'm going to call this angle here theta. Now, I would like you to know that this straight line, since it bisects this into 2, that means it also bisects this angle. So obviously this will be theta also. So what do I need to do? I'm to find this theta. Now, looking at this, you can see that since we have this right angle here and we have this angle on this line, so this line that they are resting on, where we have the right angle and this angle, is the adjacent. So I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So I'm going to be making use of cos. So I'm going to say cos theta, which is equal to adjacent, which is 5 over hypotenuse, which is 13. That is what I have there. And I'm also going to say theta, which is equal to cos inverse of 5 over 13. So if I have that, don't forget the 2 of this angle, that gives me angle POQ will now be equal to 2 theta, which will be 2 cos inverse of 5 over 13. So that's where I'm going to make use of my calculator. It's going to be calculator work. Now, most of them don't know how to use that, so you have to find that is second function with the cos inverse there, and you have to put it in bracket because we are having 5 divided by 13 times 2. So that gives 134 0.76, maybe I should include that, 0.2701, and that is approximately 134.760. I think I will make do with this. I think it's perfectly okay. So that simply means that angle POQ is 134.76 degrees. Don't forget, I always tell students that this is an angle, so you should ensure that you put the degrees there. Then the next part of the question says that the area of the minor segment formed by the chord. The minor segment is this. Is the minor segment formed by the chord. So there are several ways you can calculate it. I think two ways. There are two ways of calculating, but I'm going to focus on one, and which is the first one is I'm going to find the area of this sector. This is a sector. This is a sector, and the area of sector, that's area of sector. So I know that the area of sector is theta over 360 degrees pi r squared. That's the area of this sector. Then I'm going to find the area of this. So how am I going to go about this? I'll find the area of the sector, then subtract the area of the triangle from it. So that will give me the area of the segment. So area of segment will be the area of sector minus area of triangle, the area of the triangle. So the area of the sector, which is theta over 360 pi r squared, minus what's the area of the triangle? Half base times height. So you can see that the base length, I will actually need the base length to be able to find the area of this triangle. So to do that, it's quite easy. I'm going to go back to this. Probably I will call this M. So I'm going to say from triangle POM, I'm having, let me draw that here to say this is how it looks like. This is 5 centimeter, and this is 13 centimeter. Are we dealing with centimeter? Yes, we're dealing with centimeter. So I'm to find this value here, y. So to do that, I'm going to make use of Pythagoras to say Pythagoras said 13 squared is equal to y squared plus 5 squared. That means y squared is equal to 13 squared minus 5 squared, and this is 169 minus 25. So y squared would give me, that's 144. Y is equal to the square root of 144, and that gives me 12. So I'm going to work with a positive value. So y is equal to 12. So if y is equal to 12 from here to here is 12, remember I said this straight line bisects this into two. So if this is 12, this will 12 centimeter. This will also be what? 12 centimeter. So I can say line PQ is equal to, that's 2 times 12 centimeter. That gives me 24 centimeters. So I guess I can use that to be able to find the area of the triangle. So going back to the area of the segment, let me call this. So what is the angle? The angle here is 134. So I have 134.76 degrees divided by 360 degrees times 22 over 7. So you can see it is stated there to use 22 over 7 times r, which is 13 squared, then minus 1 over 2 times, this will be in bracket, times, that's talking about the area of the triangle, half base times height, the base length, which is 24, times height, which is 5. So now I think that's the calculator work will do here. So I'm going to go for that and to say what I have there divided by 60 times 22 times 13 square, and all divided by 7. So I'm having 198.82487. No, so it's safer to put it at maybe probably 4 decimal places. I think it's okay. It's not going to affect that. 2 here, 1, 2 here, 12. When you multiply that, that gives you 60, right? So I can say minus 60, answer minus 60, and then I'm going to have 138.82487 And did they tell me what they said? The area of the minor segment. So since the area of the minor segment formed by the chord, this will be centimeter square. So now they didn't say, but fine, I can just put it as 138.82 centimeter square. But that's after writing it this way. So don't forget the unit, centimeter square. And looking at this again, the pi. The pi is 22/7. Some students will end up using 3.14, but no, it's not said for you to use that 3.14. And that's exactly what we have. So I'm going to pause here. So that's question 6, 7, 8, 9. I have another video for question 10, question 11, question 12. So I would like you to also take a look at that, and it's going to be exciting. I'll be telling you more about how the marking scheme goes and where the marks are. Remember, I've always emphasized on units and premature approximation to help you cleanse the mark. And don't forget, I also said diagrams. Now, in the case of this question, it must have a diagram before the examiner is going to look at your solution. So if the diagram is correct, I think the examiner can properly look at your solution. So thank you very much. Don't forget, subscribe again to my YouTube channel. I have more of these there, quite exciting. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. Thank you.